Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Oceania Hunloke. Today is Ahn Shi Il, and we have Reverend Norman presenting today on this Sunday, the 3rd of August 2025, or the 10th of June in the 13th year of Chongal Group. So thank you all for coming, and let's begin with a bow to our true parents of heaven, earth, and humankind. Chanji Champunenge Kyombe. Paro. And let's recite our family pledge, both in Korean and English.
가전맨세 6. 천일국 주인, 우리 가족은 참 사랑을 중심하고 하늘 부모님과 참 부모님의 대신 가정으로서 손을 움직이는 가정이 되어 하늘의 축복을 주변에 연결시키는 가정을 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다.
Family pledge number 6. Our family, the owner of Chongal pledges to become a family that moves heavenly fortune by embodying the heavenly parent and true parents, and to perfect a family that conveys heaven's blessing to our community by centering on true love. Yeah, and I'd like to share once again Father's prayer. With earnestness piercing and flowing from our hearts, we are aware that this is a time when this echoing, beating pulse and this one streak of the movement of blood and flesh felt in our hearts can replace the original heart. Heavenly Parent, as you brought about this one day that you sought over and over again for 6,000 years, we thank you for bringing about this day in history and for allowing your daughter to be able to set up the new course of a mother in front of the cosmos. I express my gratitude as this is a time being a victorious day today, through which you have appeared in front of all things that have perfected their heavenly nature in the universe that you created, and that this time is one through which you have been able to claim victory for the first time in front of the satanic world by being equipped with a condition for liberation by finding this one day. I know that now is a time through which we can claim victory and Satan carries the sorrow of defeat, a time when our lives and satanic people's lives can be transposed. O heaven, please raise the banner of victory. O earth, please offer joy in return to the heavenly parent. Glory, glory, unending glory. I know that this hour is one in which heaven and earth come together in joy. May all descendants and the entire universe delight in this joyful time for eternity. Heavenly Parent, even if we are to die, allow us to march on toward the satanic world and invest our heart and soul in establishing your children as heroes within restoration as soon as possible, and to make this pledge to you. Please accept your daughter who has been established today, crown her with a laurel of victory, and allow her to become a daughter that can cut off all your sorrow and resentment. May the time ahead of us as of this day become one of victorious glory alone, and I sincerely hope that you are always present within the lives of all members. I pray this under the name of the person you have sent, Arju. Thank you, and let's give a welcome to Norman, if he's there. Someone in Solomon's, you know what, where Norman is?
I see him green in his
Sorry?
message. I saw him in green. It should be online, I think.
Yeah. Are you there, Reverend Norman?
Uncle Rex, can you call his phone number? Thank you.
Wait. Doesn't seem to be there. Since this doesn't look like he's there, I'll present something. Okay, so just this is something I presented before on another Ahn Shi Il time. So it's called H.J. Chonwon Garden of Devotion and Love, and it looks at the words of Mother from HJ News that was done at that time, and then some excerpts of Mother's words. So I'll just look at this. I don't know what happened to Norman, but anyway. So this is something that Mother said in relation to the Chompeong area and the opening of Heaven's Gates back in 2024. So this is, as you can see, a photo of Mother and the words that were presented during that HJ News. So she's saying, I am trying to make the Chompeong complex, which is the dream of the Heavenly Parent and the wish of the true parents, a sanctuary where you and your future descendants can experience and feel the love of the true parents, and where we can offer infinite gratitude and glory to the Heavenly Parent before all humanity. The true parents were born among fallen humanity after 6,000 years. And that's something for us to always think and ponder on and reflect, that it wasn't an easy thing. You know, after Adam and Eve fell and the world, you know, just became so ignorant of everything, you know, how things work and who we are and why we even exist. You know, it took our Heavenly Parent 6,000 years working basically in spite of, you know, human endeavors, you know, finding righteous people here and there that would, you know, move forward, but then at the same time, you know, active forces against it, causing it to go backwards and forwards. So it must have been so frustrating for our Heavenly Parent to have to, you know, arduously work, and with a breaking or a broken heart, you know, because of, you know, his children, you know, not understanding what's the whole reason. And 6,000 years, when we look at our lifetime of it's hard to imagine 6,000 years. When we think of 10 years, we see some perspective, or 50 years, but 6,000 years, to continue out of a heart of love. So, however, the problem is that we should welcome the Heavenly Parent in an environment restored to its original state of creation. It deeply saddens me that our current environment falls short of this ideal. We must swiftly work towards the restoration of nations in the world, no matter what it takes. And that's the situation that we are in now, and how we can support the work towards the restoration of all the nations in the world. We know that the fundamental aspect of that restoration is people to recognize the heart of our Heavenly Parent, and that He really is our parent, and to recognize who our true parents are and who they represent, and fundamentally enable our Heavenly Parent to have a substantial physical form. It really is witnessing is the means through which we can awaken people. That's why we need to gather all leaders and proclaim, let's save the earth. And that's because we need the earth to be God's kingdom on earth. It needs to be a substantial Chongilguk, but unfortunately it's not that at the moment. It's still in turmoil, and really we can see still a lot of chaos and violence happening. We should feel this urgency even more deeply as we contemplate this beautiful environment. So that was the simple message that was given at that time through the HJ News, and that was just reflecting about that, the environment that we need to create really has to be the environment that Mother is modeling in Korea, and with the Chongwon-gung and the Chongil Sanctum being, when we go there, we really do feel like it's a piece of heaven that we are entering, and we need to make sure that the world does embrace our Heavenly Parent. So next is a little message that Mother gave back in August 2016, and this was a rally for the victorious entrance into the Chongil Sanctum. See, we dream of one family of humankind centered on Heavenly Parent, and we are realizing that. And 2-year-old Jong-A says she has many family members. This is her original mind. I don't know if you remember at that time, she was together with her great-granddaughter, and she was just giving so much love. Our Creator, Heavenly Parent, has a dream. After creating this beautiful earth and all things in heaven and on earth in the divine image, and finally created a man and a woman to become our first ancestors, Heavenly Parent gave them time to grow through their own effort and waited for them to perfect themselves. However, those who were meant to become our first ancestors did not achieve perfection but fell instead. And we know that sad history all too well. And the result of that is, where we are today, and we're lucky to be living in this golden age. As a result, fallen humankind, living for 6,000 years in an environment of war and conflict in which unity is impossible, has not seen a single day of peace. However, heaven could not abandon fallen humanity. Thus, in carrying out the providence of salvation, God selected Israel as the chosen people. After 4,000 years, God sent the only begotten Son, Jesus Christ, whom he could call my Son. Yet people did not understand Jesus' essential purpose. Even Mary, who gave birth to him, could not fulfill her responsibility. Since the creation brought forth a man and a woman, when the only begotten Son was born, the only begotten daughter needed to be found. And yes, that's our situation, and it's, as it's set up there, fallen humanity living for 6,000 years in an environment of war and conflict, in which unity is impossible. You may have heard the recent announcement by Trump to send nuclear warships in the vicinity of Russia, because Russia is not or ignoring the request for a ceasefire, and so the tension there is still very high, and news reporting that this is a scary thing. We don't want to see an all-out nuclear war. And then, at the same time, we have the conflict between Palestine and Israel, and today in Australia, there's going to be a march across the Sydney Harbour Bridge in support of Palestine, and they're predicting 50,000 people will be marching, and this was a big contentious problem because there we have both groups in Australia that support, a big group that supports Palestine and a big group that supports Israel. and the police are very nervous, and they actually said, no, you can't do it because of the potential escalation to violence. But the Supreme Court went to court, granted them the right to carry out the march, the demonstration over the Harbour Bridge. So everything's going to be closed. So I hope the traffic coming to the Peace Embassy for Sunday service is okay and doesn't have too many problems. But the other day, when I was in the city, just on Wednesday, a few days back, there was a little mini demonstration being done by the Palestinians with their flags, and there was, quite a few police around, and there was it did escalate to violence because there were some pro-Israeli people there, and they started to argue, and then the police had to come in and break it up. So we hope that that doesn't happen today with the march. So as Mother says, it's an environment of war and conflict in which unity is impossible, and yet has not seen a single day of peace. And yet God's hope, is to have, the son and the only begotten son and daughter, and it didn't happen at the time of Jesus. Just the only, my son came, as God could call out, and yet the daughter was not there. Because this could not be accomplished, Jesus ultimately had to go the way of the cross. Before he died, Jesus said he would come back. He said that when he returned, he would hold the wedding feast of the Lamb. 2,000 years of Christian history began with the apostles' resurrecting through the Holy Spirit, but people have not understood Jesus' essence. So the reality today is that they are simply continuing as they did in the past, as a being who is the same from beginning to end. Heavenly Parent must see things through to completion. And so this is, God's heart. He just can't leave it as it is. And because they didn't understand, why Jesus said he's going to come back, it became just a waiting for the Messiah's return, and that's all. No consciousness at all about the reality of an only begotten daughter to be born in the flesh, and for the marriage of the Lamb to be an actual thing, a physical occurrence on earth at that time. The providence cannot be fulfilled through the people of Israel. We know through history that indemnity remained for the death of Jesus on the cross. For the completion of the providence, heaven therefore selected and established a new chosen people through whom to bring about the birth of the only begotten daughter. Heaven must be victorious without fail. The only begotten daughter, born for the completion of heaven's providence, must come on a Christian foundation. But now, through the only begotten daughter, true mother, the new era after the foundation day has opened, the era of Chong Il Guk. So there's great hope because of the marriage of the Lamb taking place. We see, that opening part here, the providence cannot be fulfilled through the people of Israel. We know through history that indemnity remained for the death of Jesus on the cross. And we know that Israel was completely destroyed and was without a country. And then back in 1945, after 2,000 years, they claimed their area again, and given to them by the Allied nations after World War II, but it was an occupied land. Palestine was there, but it was taken over and so then suddenly we have a displaced people. So once they took the land, there was no land remaining for Palestine, and so it became an occupied area. And and violence and wars ever since. And you may have heard in recent news that a few nations, like particularly France and the UK, have decided to recognise Palestine as another state. So they're thinking of a two-state solution, and therefore the UN, once they get their numbers up, then it will be recognised as a bona fide member state, and therefore it would be acknowledged as a country. And Australia has yet to make up its decision if it's going to support that or not. So that's some outcome of the fact that this Israel is still paying indemnity. And we know of the tragedy that occurred in the Second World War by the Nazi Germany. So, but for the completion of the providence, heaven therefore selected and established a new chosen people through whom to bring the birth of the only begotten daughter. Heaven must be victorious without fail. And today we know that that nation is Korea, and that nation Korea is really standing up as a nation that rapidly grew from a war-torn country to a major leader. And Korean people really are a people of strong faith, and you may remember at the Chongsim Won vigil prayer, one of the remarks was about how amazing this gathering of prayer is. It's a unique thing where thousands of people around the world are praying together, and not just once, but for many years now, and increasing and increasing. And the person presenting was showing that this is really a remarkable and a powerful expression of love, and took great pride that this is the only time in history, and no other religious body has done such a thing, and that this is really moving heaven and earth. And as it's the last paragraph there again, it says the only begotten daughter born for the completion of heaven's providence must come on a Christian foundation. But now, through the only begotten daughter, true mother, the new era after Foundation Day has opened, the era of Chongalguk. So we're in Chongalguk, and must come on a Christian foundation, because it's the fulfillment of Christ's dream, to find his bride. So Christians need to understand God's heart and Jesus's heart, and how they are meant to believe in and serve and attend the only begotten daughter. So Chongalguk is the kingdom of heaven on earth, where blessed families that are perfected in love live together with true parents attending Heavenly Parent. The world, however, is unable to grasp heaven's providence. What is more, what is more, we are now completing and dedicating a temple in which to attend the Heavenly Parent on earth. How wonderful it would be if we could attend Heavenly Parent on the foundation of creating the environment for that and realizing national restoration. Without that supportive environment, it took us 60 years until this point, the 12th year of Chongalguk, to dedicate Chongwon-gung and to look forward to entering the Chongal Sanctum. So my mother's saying how wonderful it would be if we could attend Heavenly Parent on the foundation of creating the environment for that and realizing national restoration. So yeah, that's God's dream still, waiting to be moved to the next point already. Uh, the true parents are here already. The change of blood is taking place already. Members are witnessing. To at least 1/3 of humanity can understand about our heavenly parent, and we are in this amazing time where uh, this environment is here, and it's up to us, as we know, to really embrace it and share it. As we move toward that day, please would you, as the blessed families who fulfill the way of filial piety and loyalty to heaven, and as citizens of Shongalguk that heaven longs for, work to expand that environment. I have said that the blessed families living in this era are living in a golden age. This time when the only begotten daughter, true mother, is still living on earth, is the only golden age. There has not been one before, and there will never be one again. I hope you will pledge to become one with me and work with me forever to build the kingdom of heaven on earth and in heaven. So, really, Mother is really relying on us, to become the heroes of the day, to take up our fervor and push forward. It says, fulfill the way of filial piety and loyalty to heaven as citizens of Shongalguk that heavenly parent longs for. We need to work to expand that environment, and we are, and all of us are doing it in our own certain way. And as Mother said, we're living in this golden age, and saying that this true Mother is still living on earth is the only golden age. There has not been one before, and there will never be one again. So this particular golden age is the fact that the only begotten daughter is here, has succeeded, built Chongalguk, welcomed our heavenly parent substantially on earth, and opened the Chongal Sanctum, which is the residence and the administrative authority through which God can govern the world. And so this is the only golden age because of the fact that Mother is the only begotten daughter. And she goes on at the end there, I hope you will pledge to become one with me and work with me forever to build the kingdom of heaven on earth and in heaven. So that was what Jesus's wish was for the people at the time of Israel 6,000 years ago, for them to believe and to work together with him and to build the kingdom of heaven, because he said the kingdom was at hand, but it had to be postponed. So that's the end of the message that I gave at that particular time. So I'll just stop sharing that. So thank you. And yeah, I don't know what happened to Reverend Norman there, but thank you. I will open up to anyone that'd like to share or make a comment. Thank you. Yes, Rex. Yeah, you need to unmute. Yeah, it's not unmuting. Ah,
My camera is on, so
yeah, you just stopped it. You had it. Uh,
the camera is on. That
the
I want to.
camera's off. We can hear you.
Yeah, but I wanted to off my camera, so I didn't know that it was on.
Okay. All right. Jeff, you like to share? Yes.
Anyway, just you talked a little bit, John, about the two-state solution, and of course the issue comes where they don't have an ideology or theology to make peace, and because they really see them as almost not their brothers and sisters, that they are special themselves, And anyway, we know this ourselves very well. The amazing thing about New Zealand is when the Europeans came here, they made a treaty that said we're all going to be one people and everyone is going to be able to vote, And so they didn't treat them differently because of the Christian sort of, understanding, that we're all God's children, So we went to Israel. I was there and we went out to the wall and saw this big wall they were put up and everything. And yeah, it's not easy. At the same time they are chosen, but at the same time chosen to make one family, with everybody, So it's a problem of theology, really, or ideology that is a real problem. And so yeah, very hard to solve that. But the amazing thing about what Mother has been saying is that even though Korea's been chosen, it's the one who are following two parents who are really going to be the ones, to build God's kingdom and break down all the barriers between people, So anyway, I just think of that Bible verse that I just pulled up. It is not as though God's word failed, for not all who are descendant from Israel are Israel. So, just because you're born in Israel doesn't mean you're God's favorite or God, the ones God can work through, really. Anyway, a lot of things to be resolved. But yeah, the way Mother is embracing, or two parents are embracing everybody is, yeah, fundamentally critical in accepting we're all equal, in front of God, Anyway, just a few thoughts to fill up some space. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Randall, you got your hand up. Go ahead. You there, Randall? Yeah.
One of the early parts of what you were saying was how God had waited for 6,000 years. The thing is that he wasn't really waiting. He's actually seeing the development of his children. And yes, we've fallen. But how could he not wait? Could he just accept fallen people to be the the standard in heaven? No, he's oh, so what is a better way? Oh, he forces us to be loving creatures. No, that's like robots. No, God is really waiting for the children to freely respond in true love. And so this is, God isn't going to accept lesser levels of his stream, of the goal for, the heaven, which is going to be for eternity. It's when people ask, okay, so what's the difference between your church and other Christian churches? One of the things is our attitude towards God. One of the big things is we understand that God is suffering, whereas a lot of other Christian churches think that God is kind of aloof, that not influenced by the way that things are going on here. But yeah, no, God is really suffering in different times. And also, some people think that God is a quitter. He's quit on his original goal. Adam and Eve fell, and so, okay, let's forget about the original goal that he had for, Eden and developing the world and with perfect people. Let's just go for a secondary goal of, we'll have a kind of heaven. We'll have only 144,000 that live there or something like this. No, we don't think that God is a quitter. We don't think that God fails. He hasn't failed in his creation because he's still working on it. Some people also think, God has limited love, that he's willing to, just cast aside and treat people as expendable, and so that they can go to eternal hell. We're not like that. We don't believe that, God thinks that his children are expendable, that he has a plan for salvation even after they die. You think that God is limited by, the physical world, and so when you lose a physical body, then that's the end of how God can help with our salvation? No, there's much more to it. We see as God is, being patient, being not a quitter, being smart. God sent Jesus, but why did he send Jesus? To save the world? To save us from what? To save us from what happened in Eden. Well, it wasn't just a man that had a problem in Eden. It was Adam and Eve. So of course there has to be not just an only begotten son, but an only begotten daughter as well. You think that God forgot about having a daughter there as well? Oh, right. Is Eve an afterthought? No. God is smart. These are some of the things that are different with the unification movement than other Christian churches. We really respect and value the value of God and the way that God is, all loving, all intelligent with the different things that are needed, and all patient as well. The willpower to keep going. So yeah, there's a few things that we really come across with God, and so what kind of role do you see God? Who do you pray to? Some Christians pray to Lord. If you're praying to a Lord, that means that you're the servant. Some people pray to a Savior. That means that I don't have to do anything. I don't have to be the servant. I just hang on to the rope, and that's the only responsibility I have. God has to do all the work because he's the Savior. No. We understand that God is a parent and that we're inheriting the love and the role of being a divine person. And, we're becoming godlike because, and we're not becoming gods, but God wants an object to love that relates to him. And so we've got, God has got all these different personality attributes that can reflect to all the different people on earth. And without me, there's that little cog, there's that little piece of the creation which is missing. Without you, there's a little piece of that creation which is missing, that God is yearning for. And so without you, God cannot be happy. There's a lot of different understandings we have about God, which is just that little bit unique, that little bit, people that have quit on the values of, what a perfect world would be. Kind of like, let's compromise on a few things. And this is how our dogma within our church will be. No, not with us. We're looking at the ideal, the original ideal, and understanding that God is vast enough, big enough to be able to embrace all of that. Anyway, thank you.
Thank you, Randall. Yeah. Yes, Mr. Wright, go ahead.
Good morning, everyone. And talk about golden time, but also for religiously, I think golden time sometimes is more difficult time. I think Korea is quite difficult time, and also Japan is a difficult time. I think everyone, now praying. So just I'd like to share about one of the biggest persecution, religious persecution in Japan. Japan people know, but I don't know you know or not. One of the biggest religious persecution in Japan was happened. That religious organization name is Omoto. Started 120 years before, Shinto religion. And that religion is very similar to Islam, because Islam is Gabriel appeared to Muhammad until Muhammad died nearly 23 years, gave a message. Then Muhammad gave other person who write down that Quran. 23 years. It's an incredible message, spiritual, like a poem. It is incredible. Then Japanese Omoto, its name is origin. And one of the biggest religion in Japan happened. Then that started one of the old women. She had 11 children, 40, 50 years old. She cannot write, she cannot read. Then suddenly spirit come down to give a message, but she cannot write, she cannot read. Then started automatic writing until 14 years. So she wrote nearly 200,000 copy. 200,000 copy. Then that religion started getting so popular. I think almost so much same as the Unification Church, for ideology, almost same. Not 100% clear about creation, fall, restoration is not clear, but unity of universe. We talk about unity of the two mother, unity of the God, exactly the same. And but that religion getting so popular, I don't know, maybe 20, 30% Japanese people become Omoto, Shinto. Then that time, Japanese authorities started to persecute twice, mobilize like 6,000 people to mobilize. Also, they near 10,000 people to destroy the church. Incredible. But nearly 3,000 people arrested. Many people died in a prison. And like this time, once in Korea, 1,000 policemen came to Chongwon-gun and check it. I think it is incredible. But that religion in Japan, 10,000 people came to destroy. Live same as Chongwon-gun, that kind of incredible building. All building and also foundation, it's with dynamite, completely destroyed. It is one of the biggest persecution. Then finally went to court case. It went to after World War II. Then Japan became democratic nations. I think then went to court case. Then finally in high court become free, no guilty. Then so always when Japanese people remember that it's one of the biggest persecution, but after become no guilty. Then that organization can claim a lot of biggest compensation from government, but they did not. We don't need, because that time Japan was after World War II. If get money from government, that money from the people, from suffering people, then that religious organization, okay, we don't need that. It's incredible. Then always, that's why when religious was persecuted, but that organization leader did not repent, or really, I think it's loved for the enemy, that kind of heart that people talk about. That is one of the great spiritual show. So when we are under the persecution, but I think most important thing is that we are loving. Anything happen, we try to love people. We can be free. We have to establish that kind of heart at the moment, I feel. Then just very short, but this is maybe I try to share more detail of it's incredible persecution happened. Maybe in the history, maybe more, but that happened in Japan.
Thank you, Mr. Rai. Thank you. Yeah. Actually, it's time now for us to offer our unison prayer, so thank you. I'll just share the screen. Thank you all. So let's pray together. Jew, Jew, Jew. Thank you, everyone. I hope everyone has a great day and see you all again tomorrow. Thank you. Yeah.
See you tomorrow.